We've heard the strategic plan mentioned. We've heard the infamous 6th Street corridor mentioned. The state no longer provides redevelopment funds, and that's the loss of a significant tool in attracting new business or improving sections of the community. What are the effective tools, do you believe, financial and otherwise, that Corona still has at its disposal for attracting new business and rebuilding distressed areas? Karen?
We are seeking out those tools as we speak. We have been looking for those. As Eugene said, we've been working with developers, trying to do whatever enticements we have to bring them into the community, to have them take a risk with the Corona Mall. We've done 6th Street, we've redone 6th Street, the sidewalks, the curbs. We're putting together right now a facade program to allow some of the businesses an opportunity to have a little grant money that would help as far as a Band-Aid, but we are working on that. The other things that we have is relationships. We started a business roundtable with the first meeting, and we've been having some follow-up meetings since then, asking the business what they need. We can sit up here and make all the decisions, but until you go to those people who are needing the help and ask them what they need from us. And so that's what we have started, is a business roundtable, talking to the business owners. We constantly are asking the community what they want. We know 6th Street's a priority, and we are trying to find ways that we can accomplish that together.
We need business. It's the only thing that's going to help us. We can't be so focused that we lose sight of our entire city, that there's a lot of people who live in Green River area, or Dos Lagos. Everybody's so focused on 6th Street. It's been an issue, good or bad, for over 20 years. I've been here 25 years and they've complained about the same thing over and over. We, as a community, need to make a decision on what you want. 2 days ago, I drove up in Rancho Cucamonga on Foothill. Beautiful, beautiful area that they constructed. It was the old Route 66. We have the Route 91. Could we not redesign and build it right? You can't put a Band-Aid to cure cancer. It takes planning and commitment.
One of the things that we do have for Corona that we have as a huge advantage is our location. We're the closest to Orange County, so we're great planning of doing that. But the other thing is, this is a chart that shows the cost of doing business within a city. And Corona is the second lowest cost of doing business in Riverside County. And so we have that to attract businesses to Corona. We're able to offer them benefits that they can use here that they will not find elsewhere. There are other things, fast-tracking projects through development processes. It's something that we're working on. Is it ever perfect getting through a city bureaucracy? No. But time for a developer is money. If we can entice someone to work on the Corona Mall area and assure them that whatever the plans are would get through quickly, that makes a big difference to an investor.
Well, to work in the downtown area, I think we've already kind of answered that question. That is creating a team, creating a council that can work together, that can bring teamwork and ideas to the table that will show developers that we're all on the same page and ready to go. I think we're overlooking a very important tool that we also have in the city of Corona, and that's our Chamber of Commerce. We have a group of business leaders already in town who want to see that area developed and want to see all areas of the city developed. And so we need to work with them to develop their plans and what they want to see go forward as well. We can also work to develop a business improvement district in the downtown area and work with those business owners to help them achieve their goals. Okay, and then it's also important to bring up the fact of what Riverside has done in their downtown area, and Eugene has just kind of mentioned that, smart planning, to where we can fast track certain plans that are ready to go and get them going so that they don't have to waste a lot of money going through the red tape of bureaucracies. Thank you very much.
A lot of you have probably received a knock on your door or phone call at night from either myself or one of my campaign team members. We're trying to reach out to everybody in the city. However, in the very beginning of my campaign, I was knocking on businesses' doors. I was going up and down 6th Street and Main Street, all those little businesses that are in trouble right now. And I was talking to them, and they were really surprised because, one, no candidate had ever shown up at their door, nor had any city council person. And these were the Cash for Golds, this was the car wash, this was the check cashing place, all these little businesses. And I agree with Eugene that those feathered flags really look ugly. However, they told me that they would be out of business without those feathered flags. The city of Corona has to make it easy for these businesses to stay in business. And if they stay in business, other businesses will see that we're also business friendly and will come in also. We have to stop feeing and taxing these businesses. We need to start giving them incentives to come in.
Let me go back to Karen and Eugene. Are there any active discussions or negotiations going on with developers now in regard to the Corona Mall?
Currently, we are expecting to have a couple of proposals in from at least 2 developers. We put it out to the business, the development community, both ones that have done projects in Corona and ones that have not, but that are well known within the more urban kind of development. And so we do have some proposals that we're expecting to get in within the next few weeks. But it will be a long process.
And just to follow up with that, quite often it's difficult. I know that, you know, for citizens of Corona, you want to know, but if we don't have anything tangible, if someone's thinking about it, we can't go blasting that. And so sometimes a lot of work is happening, but it's happening in a slow process. And since we're at the mercy of these businesses that are going to put their money in our community, we have to respect their decision-making, their privacy. And in doing so, a lot of things have happened and are happening and will continue to happen. But just remember, as Eugene said earlier, we do not own it. So when we keep hearing that we acquired these properties, we did, but the state now has ownership of those 100%. So anything that Corona had is no longer belonging to us.
Moving on to 6th Street, there's been a lot of discussion recently in regard to growth, particularly as it relates to the building of high-density apartments, townhouses, and condos, and that impact on traffic and other aspects of community life. Has there been too much, too quickly, and or simply too much, period? Dave?
As an outsider looking in, I want to play ball, but the problem ends up being is it wasn't well planned. The commitment to expand and extend Foothill wasn't done properly. You have a crew out there that sits at the dead end of Foothill for over a year. I've personally spoken to them. The city forgot to pull 2 permits. The gnat catcher, and that property doesn't belong to the city of Corona. It belongs to the U.S. Corps of Army Engineers. Geez, that's like fraud, and that is like pulling teeth to get anything passed. They should have known that, because we don't own that property. And without permission, we can't extend the road. So therefore, we have a lot of issues. We have people that sit on boards and commissions for the 91 Express. They have that knowledge. Did they share it?
I would agree that we have had some explosion in apartment growth. You would be amazed at how many we've turned down. I actually voted against the one that I think was the most ill-fated, which is over on Palisades and Surface Club. It's the stupidest project. There's too much traffic. I voted against it. It's adjacent to a toxic waste dump. It still got approved. The other projects that we have moving forward, most of the apartments are actually being built so that they can actually be converted to condominiums, so they're built to condo standards. but they're built in areas where they can handle traffic as it grows. So yes, do I think there's too many apartments in some areas? Yes.
It's important to handle growth in a proper perspective, and I think it's important that the city council works together to look at what we can do and what we can't do. And are some of the apartments that are going up a good choice? Some of them may not be a good choice. We have to look at traffic. We have to look at parking. We have to look at will the people be able to, have friends and guests over or birthday parties for their kids over at these apartments, and where will all those people park? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. And sitting in on a lot of the planning commission meetings, I hear a lot of these questions being asked, not a lot of them being answered. So I think it's a form of responsibility as city council people to get these things answered and to be able to come up with the proper decisions so that we don't impact the city with more traffic and we don't impact the city with more cars that don't have a place to park. So as a city council person, I'll be looking at these apartment complexes that want to come into the city, and I'll be questioning them on whether or not it's going to be a positive aspect for the city and applying them to our strategic plan. Thank you.
As a planning and housing commissioner, I have approved some of these apartment buildings. The reason for that is the zoning has already been approved. Somebody has bought that property with the intention of putting apartments on, because that was approved years ago. It's very hard for a city now to go back in and say, yes, I know you bought that property and you could have built those apartments then, but now we're not going to let you. There would be some claims against the city at that point. But we have to make sure that they're doing it right, they're doing it within the city zoning and ordinance, and we don't need to be giving them any exceptions. The problem with Corona right now is we have 160-something thousand people in a 50 to 60,000 person town. We grew exponentially in the 80s and 90s and the 2000s. The growth was tremendous. We did not manage that growth very well. And the problem is we're coming up with those problems now. We're living with those problems now. And what we have to do on the city council is to make sure that we can manage those issues properly.
First off, no, we did not forget to pull the permits. Inaccurate information. Yes, there's been a lot of new development, and I have to agree with Mr. Ruth is that a lot of it was already planned. And zoning is a very important aspect that we have to allow for. The perfect example is the ones on Main Street, the two largest developments that were going in. It was pre-zoned as a transit-oriented district. It was near the Metrolink station. It was zoned for apartments, and then the economy crashed. There are many projects that have been waiting as the economy turned that were done and approved years ago. We do a general plan, and if it fits within a general plan, then we have to make a very good, legitimate reason why we want to approve something. So what we do this year will affect councils down the road, just as councils previous time affect what we're doing. And we have to work together and not keep pointing fingers. This is the way it is. We have to take responsibility and then manage it what we have.